Hey everyone, it's your boy Terry. It's a nighttime car video. I haven't done a car video in a while. Thought I'd grace you with one. I'm outside the high school waiting for my kids to get out of Shrek rehearsal. It is the Sitzprobe, which I guess means something to do with the orchestra. It's their first time running through the music with the live orchestra. I'm not sure how much time I'll have. We might be doing 2 videos tonight. I don't have my notes in front of me either. They're on my laptop, currently in my bedroom where the magic happens. So this is an off-the-cuff, mid-late Wednesday night car video with no real point, except that I really need to shave. Maybe I'll keep the beard for the Beatles show this weekend. Anyway, not a walking video today because I went to basketball this morning. That's right. Actually, woke up from my morning nap, threw on my shorts, did some stretches, went to the gym, and I was the only other guy to show up besides the guy who was putting it all together. Car! We just kind of did a shoot around, little, light one-on-one for about half an hour, and that was about enough of an ease-in for me. I'm pretty sore from just that. I'm in really, really bad shape. The Beatles shows, and sometimes I do stuff on the treadmill and the EFX cross trainer, but none of that all pales in comparison to running up and down a basketball court, because you use all kinds of muscles you never know you needed. Someone else tagged me on that Beatles video today, the 2 young black kids playing down in the subway. All I'll say to that is thank you. But please share this video, if for no other reason than to no longer tag me on that video. This is sort of a quiet week. I had to learn one new song for Beatles night this weekend. That is Another Day. That's a Paul McCartney song. I'll be playing that with the great Dan Burke, who's a fabulous acoustic artist. He's up more in the Smithville, Middle Township, Upper Township area. The show is in Smithville, so we're going to get a lot of unfamiliar faces up there. No one signed up to play the open mic yet. We usually get about a dozen people. No one yet this year. I can't imagine the Beatles are any less popular than they were last year, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get some walk-ins or last-minute sign-ups. What else did I have to talk about today? And the sort of comic bookness. Look, I'm getting blurry. The comic bookiness of this channel. Recently it was announced that Joss Whedon was going to write and direct the Batgirl movie. He has since dropped out of writing and directing the Batgirl movie, and in the in-between time, he was outed as one of those Me Too creeps along the lines of Harvey Weinstein and Louis C.K., who are just kind of creepy, gross guys. He cheated on his wife for many years, and then sort of blamed Hollywood as sort of an average-looking guy who otherwise would never have had this power. Once he got into a position of power in being a film and television producer, he took advantage of that power and blamed the power, blamed Hollywood. And he still really had the chutzpah to post some really virulent, gross anti-Trump Twitter stuff. It's fine if you're anti-Trump. I'm not anti-Trump. If you are, that's fine. I still like you. But his stuff was all that sort of beyond the pale craziness that was happening just before and after the election. It's just kind of like, really? You who just did all that to your wife and your family, you're not going to talk about... Anyway, I think Batgirl could be a really good movie. I know that the actress Yvonne DiCarlo, what's her name, played Batgirl in the 1960s Adam West series, and she, along with Julie Newmar and Let's Get Physical era Olivia Newton-John, and for some reason Helen Reddy from Pete's Dragon, were the sort of first 4 women in my life who helped me become a young man. Yes, obviously Julie Newmar, for obvious reasons, as the Catwoman, just Batgirl, she was beautiful. Olivia Newton-John, I got the album Physical for a birthday, Christmas, and there was a bit of a centerfold, nothing untoward, but enough when you're 12 in 1982. And for whatever reason, Helen Reddy in Pete's Dragon, the original hand-drawn animated version from 1978 or 1979, made a huge impression on me. And I've now admitted that in public. So there you go. I finished the last Robert Crace novel, which was called not L.A. Requiem, not The Last Detective, The Forgotten Man. That was sort of the third in a trilogy of origin novels of Joe Pike and Elvis Cole. You got a lot more insight into Elvis Cole's character. This, for me, was maybe my least favorite of the Elvis Cole mysteries so far. The central mystery was just kind of okay. But listen, picking my least favorite Robert Crace novel is like picking my least favorite Beatles album. Even the bad ones are really pretty good. I'm saying a lot. Is that a thing? Leave a comment. If I say too much, let me know. So anyway, I am now caught up because I started rereading the Robert Crace novels with sort of the two most recent ones and the one I had on my Kindle from Christmas. Now I'm kind of caught up. There's one or two I skipped, but I'm giving myself a little bit of a break on the Robert Crace novels. I think for maybe a Sunday or Monday video, I will do my Robert Crace reviews. But really good, obviously worth reading. All the Robert Crace books are very good. This was just my least favorite of the first 10 or so that I've read so far. But again, more insight into Elvis Cole's tragic background and how he is the way he is. So L.A. Requiem was kind of the Joe Pike origin. The Last Detective really got you into sort of young adult Elvis Cole, and The Forgotten Man, in which a man shows up claiming to be Elvis Cole's father, whom he has never known, and that dredges up a lot of his childhood stuff. Now you sort of have the basis of how Joe and Elvis came to be who they are. So after the gym shooting Hope today, I went to the library. I had like 3 more Robert Crace books in my hand. I said, let's give ourselves a break. And I picked up the last few Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child novels that I have missed. They've written a great series of books starring a phenomenal character named Special Agent Aloysius Pendergast. He's a kind of one of those, he's a Joe Pike, he's a Robert Crace, he's a Jack Reacher, he's a Sherlock Holmes, he's a Dr. Watson. He's a very idiosyncratic character and solver of mysteries. He's a very I always pictured John Hurt. John Hurt, who played the guy in Alien who had the thing burst out of his chest, who was the wand guy, Ollivander, in the Harry Potter movies. He's been in a million movies. You know who I'm talking about. I always kind of pictured him, a young him, in this role. About alien age John Hurt in this role. So he's sort of my physical, my mental picture of when I'm reading these books. And gosh, we're gotta be a dozen of these books. I just looked at the bibliography to remind myself where I stopped. Anyway, maybe I'll do some reviews of those books, or just give another outline of those books. So yeah, I'm off the Crace for a while, and I'm on to Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. I believe the first of the Pendergast books is The Cabinet of Curiosities, and this is from the early to mid 90s. They also wrote, or I believe it was just one of them wrote a book called The Relic, which was turned into a pretty bad movie in about 1994, starring Tom Sizemore and Penelope Ann Miller, about a creature that gets loose in the Museum of Natural History. It's sort of really loosely based on, that was the first Pendergast novel, and they totally just, now I know why Robert Crace doesn't want to make his books into movies, because this is like a really bastardized version of Pendergast in this story. Like how Stephen King's stories sometimes get really, all they use is the title of the book to use his name for recognition, and then just totally rewrite the story. Like Lawnmower Man. We'll talk about that another day. So anyway, just catching up on my Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. I had another thread of a thought there, but we're pushing 10 minutes now, and the kids should be coming out shortly. They told me 8 o'clock. It's now 8:15, and Daddy just loves having to leave the house in the middle of what he's doing. And that's what I'm doing. I'm really getting elbow deep into the Downton Stabby script. I'm sort of reformatting it for this new room, and I have sort of done the first 2 major bits of business. Now I'm just into the main body of the play, and working on, there were 7 drafts of this play, 7 drafts of the script. First draft was 64 pages, and the first table read took almost 3 hours. And the final version was about 36 pages, which ran about an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minutes. So I'm trying to marry the ultra long version with the ultra short version, because I think with the reformatting I'm going to have a little bit more time to play with. So I'd like about a 45 to 50 page version, because of course everything I write is perfect. So anything I cut out of a draft pains my soul. So I'm trying to put some of those things back in that I had to cut at Elaine's for running time, that I don't have as strict a running time at Iron Pier. And once we get into rehearsal, we'll see if we're running too long or too short. We can add stuff, pull stuff, rearrange stuff. But it's been fun getting in there, and I sort of have one script on this side of the page and the other script on this side of the page. I'm just kind of copying, moving over here. Now delete that. I did that line. Okay, that one's in. Well, I can take these two and sort of combine them and juxtapose them and take 4 lines and turn them into 2. So it's interesting in remembering, because we're going back almost 4 years now of writing that script and seeing where it started, where it ended up, and now I'm going to sort of do a mashup of them. And that's going to be April 22nd at the Iron Pier. That is upstairs from Cabanas. And that's going to be a pretty exclusive ticket. There's only about 40 seats up there. And we hope to sell all of them. And I would call now and maybe make a reservation. I'll leave your name with on the answering machine. I don't think they're open during the week yet, just weekends, but never hurts to get your name in early. Mention my name, you get a free glass of water. I think that'll do it for now. I'm starting to get a little bit irate that these kids aren't out here yet. But the show's going to be over in a month. So, tomorrow. I will start tomorrow. Tomorrow's March. Oh, yeah. Hit the Patreon tonight, because I think vests at midnight tonight. So all the patrons who have pledged so far, I believe your first pledge will go into my account tonight at midnight or tomorrow or something like that. So I see some kids are coming out in jibs and jabs. Kid! So there was a kid. So they should be coming out shortly. Anyway, short video now at 12 minutes. Have a wonderful night. If I have enough material for a later video, we'll do a later video. I smell gloriously of vegetable oil and potatoes and onions because I made breakfast for dinner. I make a hell of a hash browns and bacon and cook the eggs. Just a little bit of the bacon grease. Most of the bacon grease goes on the potatoes. A little bit of the bacon grease to fry up the eggs. And the bacon, and of course toast. I make the best toast that there is. Until next time, be good. Click.